Ladies and gentlemen, from CenturyLink Center, Omaha, Nebraska, this is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Lightweight Championship of the World. And it's all brought to you by Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated and Tecate con Character. Sanctioned by the Nebraska State Athletic Commission, Acting Commissioner Jim Hayes, Deputy Commissioner Brian Dunn, and the World Boxing Organization President Francisco Paco Barcarcel, Supervisor John Duggan. The three judges at ringside scoring this fight: Adelaide Bird, Bill Lurch, and Cesar Ramos, and the man in charge of the action at the bell, your referee, Mark Nelson. And now, the officials are ready, the fighters are in the ring, and they are ready. Boxing fans, are you ready? Omaha, Nebraska, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red and officially weighing in at 134 3/4 pounds. His professional record, 29 victories, including 17 wins by knockout, with 6 defeats and 1 draw. Damas y caballeros de los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico, the challenger, the uncrowned champion, Raymundo Sugar Ray Beltran. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white with blue and red, officially weighing in at 135 pounds. His professional record is a perfect one, consisting of 24 fights, 24 victories, including 17 wins by knockout. He is the fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska, the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO lightweight champion of the world, Terence Bud Crawford.
Gentlemen, you've already received my instructions in the dressing room for the WBO lightweight title. You both know exactly what I expect. Please give me a good, hard, clean fight. Obey my commands and protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck to both of you.
This is a throwback fight to the days when a champion would fight the #1 contender in the division. And I don't mean the WB this or the IB that. I mean, a consensus has formed around Terence Crawford that he's the best lightweight in the world, the champ of the division, and Beltran is his most worthy challenger. That's what you get tonight.
Hard to imagine how any fighter could ever be more motivated for one outing than Ray Beltran should be tonight. But he's up against it, fighting a rising star on his home turf before a crowd which adores him and will show its appreciation. We've got about 1,000 more people here than was the case back in June when Crawford fought against Gamboa, and that was the most raucous crowd of the year. Opening left hook to the body by Beltran. They trade jabs, and Crawford is longer.
Beltran, as we know, not afraid to fight at no distance. However, we do suspect that he would want to stay at this distance all night.
Well, let me scale back the crowd estimate because Top Rank has now tweeted that the official number is 11,127. So we have about 200 more people than was the case last time, rather than 1,000 more. Earlier estimates now corrected. Go ahead.
Crawford rose to prominence in the lightweight division, first with a win over a junior welterweight, Greatest Prescott, who is a big puncher but not considered a complete fighter. And then with impressive wins against Ricky Burns, who may not have been the same after the beating he took at Beltran's hands, and Yuriorkis Gamboa, who's fantastic but a smaller guy. Beltran represents his stiffest test, all things considered, at lightweight. Seems to be peaking, big strong guy, can box, can punch, has fought and earned his way here.
Wondering how it is that Terence Crawford could outweigh Ray Beltran by 6 pounds when their upper bodies look virtually the same, pretty equal. Look at their legs. Beltran's calves are thinner than those of Crawford. Crawford, you might expect, also has thicker thighs.
One good punch so far landed in this round, and that was that good stiff left jab. Oh, I was going to say Beltran, that was a good right-hand counter by Crawford.
Yeah, it was. That's why I said I wouldn't suspect that Beltran would stay at this distance and trying to fight a taller, longer, stronger Terence Crawford.
Feeling out-round in round number 1 for both Beltran and Crawford.
Good job. Listen, bud, you're doing really good with the jab, but remember that jab, 1-2, he's waiting another single jab.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All right. I know you saw it. Jab, pa, pa. You've been doing good. Perfect.
You're chasing him down perfectly, man. You got a little discouraged there, but let him throw as many punches. Let's get some punches go a little bit, you know, see what he has. Keep your hands up. You got to move the head too, okay? Looking good, though. Keep the rhythm up. It's good.
Head movement, look for that uppercut, left uppercut right over the top, right to his chest, okay?
Don't let him catch you with those clean punches. Move the head or keep your hands up, right? I love the way you're falling around.
Round 2 begins. CompuBox found Crawford throwing and landing just a little more in round number 1, 10 out of 44 to 7 out of 31 for Beltran. Crawford landing 8 jabs to 5 for Beltran. It was a feeling out round. Both corners have had a chance to talk to their fighters. Beltran's trainer, Pepe Riley, was a member of the 1992 United States Olympic team. His professional career ended early when he broke both hands in a fight in Detroit.
Now we see Crawford using that jab a little more.
And now he switched to southpaw for the first time. We're in round 2, and already Crawford has switched to southpaw. He didn't do it until the 4th round against Gamboa.
He switched at the end of round 1, Jim. I think he got caught with a little bit of an overhand right, but he switched at the end of round 1 in that far corner.
Makes it tough to corner him because Beltran did a decent job of cutting off the ring, and right before he was going to beat Crawford to the spot, Crawford just turned into a southpaw and got out the other way.
Makes it very difficult for another guy or for the opponent. And not only does he change to the opposite hand, he's just as deadly from one side as he is from the other side.
Fighters have traditionally been taught not to try to switch. Can create confusion, can cause them to get caught with punches in the ring. We seem to be seeing more and more of it, though. A fighter like Zhou Shiming switches seemingly with almost every punch. Crawford uses it very strategically.
Yeah, and some of those guys, though, don't seem quite as effective from the opposite side as does Terence Crawford.
Crawford boxing well, but you see Beltran still determined. Does not look at all discouraged by Crawford's boxing.
No, he's not. He's focused. He's very well prepared for tonight. He's seen the best of both sides all the years of sparring with Manny Pacquiao. So nothing should faze him. Beltran, that is.
There you see Beltran stepping with Crawford, enabled him to land a little something as Crawford tried to get away.
Crawford has a long jab when he stands conventionally. His jab somehow seems even longer from the southpaw stance.
I told you, he's an amazing fighter in the fact that he can switch either way and is just as effective both ways.
Countering Beltran accurately, finding the space here in round number 2 to land his jab. And some counter shots.
Don't punch.
So what Beltran just did is what he's going to have to do to have success. When Crawford steps away, step with him and throw a punch. He's not the boxer Crawford is. He's going to have to step into some exchanges and be willing to take a shot or two to land his own.
Next Saturday, it's a BAD triple header featuring the hard-charging, big-punching David Lemieux against Philly's Gabe Rosado. It projects as a can't-miss action fight. 1 week later, on December 13th, Timothy Bradley returns to the ring against Argentine knockout artist Diego Chavez. Log on to our Instagram page for more photos like this one of Tim Bradley.
I'm out here, it's not gonna work. Let's get him here, right?
Come back with the body.
I like the momentum, but you're going to the body too much, and he's going first, and he's going to move out of the way.
Okay.
Let's go up, and then when you stop, then go down.
Okay.
Keep walking to your left, okay?
Okay.
Looks good, looking good.
CompuBox numbers in round 2. Crawford starts to put some distance between himself and Ray Beltran. 22 of 61 in that round to 4 of 33 for Beltran. So that was a big round for Crawford, at least numerically, via the lenses of CompuBox.
The other good thing you got to like about Crawford is, just as you get a plan together, get a plan ready for him as a southpaw, you come out the next round and he's back right-handed.
Yeah, off of what he did against Bradis Prescott, against Ricky Burns, and particularly against Yuri Orcus Gamboa, you're tempted to say he's even better as a southpaw than as a conventional fighter. But the key to the whole enterprise is that he can do both, and with pretty much equal effectiveness.
And that's what the truth is to me.
Crawford's a really tough guy, a mean little guy in there, and he has a real good boxing brain. He can make adjustments as the fight goes on.
Don't punch. I got you.
Crawford momentarily trapped in a corner. Now steps out. Beltran gets in a jab.
You can see
Beltran quite accustomed to standing against a southpaw stance after years as Manny Pacquiao's primary sparring partner.
Crawford is obviously winning the rounds, but Beltran is able to land cleanly here and there. And Beltran can crack.
Yeah, but as Crawford showed against Gamboa, he's got a pretty good beard.
The thing you like about what Beltran is doing, though, for a short guy, you see his experience showing up because he has a lot of head movement, has a lot of good head movement, and he's avoiding a lot of good head shots. Fighting at this distance, which is a long man's distance, not a short man's distance.
Clean, guys. Thank you.
Hard right hand by Beltran. Best shot of the fight for Beltran, and he did exactly what Max talked about, stepping with Crawford and firing on the fly.
And he just got hurt by a hard right hook by Crawford right after that.
And
Crawford coming back.
That's what makes Crawford one of the things that makes him so tough. His fighting spirit. He's a tough guy. People have a tendency to look at boxers and think of the other guy as the tough guy. After all, why are they boxing? Why are they careful? But Crawford is a tough guy.
Landed a straight left hand. Started to fire to the body with the right. Beltran tied him up. Beltran had a big moment in this round, but Crawford answered it.
Deep breath, but nothing happened. We changed. Doing good. Just keep your hands up. He was trying to fake you. You see down? Yeah. All right. Just keep your hands up. Relax. Make him reach. Hey, you need upper body movement, okay? The upper body movement, and your feet might be a little bit too wide and shit. All right. Stay on the back of on the ball of that back toe. All right. All right. You feel good?
He said Beltran followed Crawford after being tapped by right on the straight left hand, comes back and lands an overhand right of his own, right on the button, knocked Terence off balance. Then Terence Crawford came back and landed a beautiful right hook to the head as Beltran was coming in. That shot, I think, hurt Beltran far worse than Beltran's overhand right hurt Crawford.
Jabs through the third round. Crawford 31 of 120, 26%. Beltran 7 out of 63. We're into the fourth round. Steve Weisfeld, how do you have it so far?
Jim, I have it 30-27 for Crawford. They're not runaway rounds, but the first 3 rounds showed the variety of ways that Crawford can win. Southpaw, orthodox, backwards, moving forwards. Beltran just has to move his hands more. So after 3 rounds, I have Crawford up by 3 points.
It's tough to imagine Beltran getting a decision. I think he has to look to hurt Crawford. And Jim, to your point, I thought Beltran's shot was better than Crawford's, but clearly Crawford hurt Beltran with his worse than the other way around. Crawford's got a good beard.
And the competitive spirit that you spoke about earlier.
Yeah, when Beltran hit Crawford, Crawford didn't back up. He stayed right there and still looked for deft counter punches. When he counterpunched and hurt Beltran, Beltran went on the defense for the rest of the round. But he's a smart guy, very experienced guy, and he knows better than anybody else when he should defend and when he should offend Beltran.
Crawford seems once again to have chosen most of the time to be in the southpaw stance. Seems more comfortable that way. Maybe that's just what we're going to see against conventional stance fighters as his career continues to progress.
If I know Terence Crawford well enough, he's probably saying, you know what? Since this guy spars so many rounds with Pacquiao, let me give him what he saw so that I can beat him at what he thinks he's best at defending. That's
psychological, in other words.
Yeah, that's just the type of guy Terence Crawford seems to be.
I'll take your confidence away.
Exactly.
Crawford just had to acknowledge that shot from Beltran, because Beltran continues to have isolated success, but clean, hard shots upstairs.
Beltran's left eye showing a little redness and a little bit of swelling under it.
Maybe a little cut.
Crawford stepping up the pace, getting busier here in round 4, firing that jab with frequency. Crawford starting to feel it. He thinks he's got Beltran where he wants him.
He's just a boxer who likes to fight, Crawford.
Catching Beltran coming in, then firing the jab from long range. Double jab again for Crawford.
A good jab Crawford is using right now.
Very stiff jab with the right hand. So many guys try to switch to southpaw and can't do it with the front hand. He's amazing.
How we doing? Good. Shit, look up, look up. Not bad.
Great. Gotta let your hands go, baby. Gotta let your hands go. Okay? Body, head, uppercuts, hooks. You got me?
Yeah. Ray,
come on now.
Listen, the key to this is keeping your hands up and getting close to them. The hands are low, you're keeping them, give me a longer distance. You're gonna cover, you're falling short every time you throw punches, right? If you give me the hands up and you throw the distance up, you're gonna understand the punches. You can throw 1-2s and they're gonna be closer for you, okay? Okay. Put the hands up and get me some punches.
Okay, yeah. No head, buddy.
You can hurt this guy, man, you know? Don't let him take control. You can hurt him.
Head, body, head.
got to keep his feet moving. He was a little bit set too much that round, okay? So
Warren Buffett in the cheap seats, way up in the nosebleed section. Man of the people,
Get the
big
water,
grin on
guys.
his
Get
face.
the water.
Love that. CompuBox numbers in that fourth round. Crawford was 22 of 51. Beltran 8 out of 32. Terence Crawford's piling up the points in Omaha.
And did a good job of piling him up with that right jab last round. That was a very effective weapon for him, and he used it really good.
Now you heard Ray Beltran, or in Ray Beltran's corner. Chief second Ernie Zavala and the trainer Pepe Riley, both asking him to put his hands up, close the distance, and try to land hard shots.
I got to say, this crowd is not nearly as electric as last time, 5 months ago, and I think that's might be because Yuriorkis Gamboa is such an electric fighter.
Exactly.
And Beltran is steady Eddie. You know, he just keeps coming, keeps plotting. And the crowd is kind of reacting with that same kind of energy.
Well, I guess it only stands to reason that you're going to get a little more noise in a fight with 4 knockdowns that may have been the fight of the year, as opposed to this one in which Crawford may be cruising toward a routine unanimous decision.
He is cruising, but he's got to be careful because, as I said, Beltran has showed the ability to hit him on the button, and you know, one of those big right hands lands right on the button, and I don't care how good your chin is, you got to go.
Beltran just landed a pretty good hook to the head of Crawford. May have been to the back of the head, but it probably was his best punch.
That was the most spirited rally in a while for Ray Beltran, and Crawford is going to try to blunt it right now.
And Crawford was rocked by Gamboa right before he himself scored the knockout.
And Beltran's corner realizing that if he ever has a chance, he better take it now before he gets too worn down. Good body shot by Crawford.
Your hands free.
Digging hard to the body with the left hand. Beltran hasn't gotten close enough to do any real good body work on Crawford these past few rounds.
That was a good body shot by Beltran there, but that that right jab makes it so hard for him.
Beltran can fight, Crawford can just fight better. Beltran needs to figure out a way to get home a shot that can change the nature of the fight.
It's so difficult for Beltran because of the arm length distance and the skill that Crawford uses to exploit that.
All right, but feeling good?
How we doing? Good. Great. That first half of the round was good.
This Tuesday, join us for the premiere of State of Play, Culture Shock, for an examination of the NFL's efforts to make the game safer through policing the type of tackling that leads to head and spinal cord injuries. State of Play, Tuesday on HBO. There's Peter Berg, longtime good friend and supporter of Ray Beltran, here to cheer for his guy. Beltran has done a lot of training in the same gym where Peter Berg works out in Los Angeles.
Keep the hands up, walk to your left. Let's go.
CompuBox numbers in the 5th round. Crawford 24 out of 54. Beltran 14 out of 40. High connect number for Beltran in the fight. First round in which he's landed that many punches, and still Crawford had him by a margin of 10 in CompuBox numbers.
I think he was able to land those punches, Jim, because he closed the distance for a little while that last round. He put a little bit more pressure on Crawford, but as you see, Crawford was able to bounce back and answer that. So it made it difficult again for him at the end of the round because Crawford landed a great 3 or 4 punch combination in the middle of his attack.
Yeah, for the first half of the round, Beltran did exactly what his corner had told him to do. Put his hands up and closed the distance and got closer with a chance to land some power shots. By the end of the round, Crawford was backing him off again.
Crawford really boxing beautifully now.
good foot stance, good hand speed, good power in both hands. Very difficult task for anybody to deal with.
Crawford takes a step to the right. Beltran slides with him. Crawford just gets inside, grabs him up, turns him around. He's back in the middle of the ring.
And the problem with that is when Crawford takes that step with him, he doesn't punch. Not Crawford, Beltran.
Right.
He doesn't punch when he gets close to you. He walks right up on him and allows Crawford just to grab him and hold.
Or else slide away.
Now he's got Crawford in the corner. Lands a left hook. Tries a right hand. Crawford gets away.
Oh, that's pretty boxing.
He can do it.
Break the punch.
Straight left hand by Crawford.
Don't punch. I got it.
Beltran, as Roy said, does all that good work to corner Crawford and doesn't move his hands. But of course, Crawford's counterpunching is the reason for that. He can make you pay when you miss.
Of course he can. He'll sit you right down.
Right hand by Beltran, and he got inside. Wasn't there long enough to do real damage. Crawford's fought the whole round in the southpaw stance, and over has shown you the brilliance of that long right jab.
Time. Good job. Great job. Thank you.
Okay.
Here's the water. Here's the boat. There you go.
How you doing? Good. Looking good, man. You're starting to come on. You're starting to come on a little bit now. Looks good. You gotta keep walking to your left, okay? You're starting to close the distance now, right?
Go to his right, baby.
As soon as you close that distance. Another one?
Looking good. You're looking good and shit. Hey, after that double jab starts going back downstairs to that left hand to the body if it's there. All right, and when he starts coming real fast, he's gonna...
Seconds out.
Ray Beltran's left eye is starting to swell just a little bit, probably the product of those repeated right jabs by Terence Crawford. Now we come to the 7th round. Steve Weisfeld, midway through the fight, what's your scorecards?
Jim, it's 59-55 Crawford. Beltran needs to show more fire and passion and move his hands more like he did against Burns. He's not going to win a jabbing contest. So after 6 rounds, I have Crawford up by 4 points.
The problem Beltran could be facing here is that while he has shown the ability to hit Crawford with a clean shot, and Beltran can punch, Crawford, like most good defensive fighters, is very hard to hit with more than one punch at a time. And so Beltran's got to hurt Crawford with that one clean shot he lands. He hasn't been able to do it yet.
And not only that, when you're taking those big shots at him, he's capable of knocking you out in the middle of those big shots, as Gamboa found out the hard way.
Footwork there as Crawford whirled away from the ropes to leave Beltran there hanging. As good as Beltran is, as hard as he's worked, as much respect as he's gained to become the #1 contender in the lightweight division, there's no X factor. There's no special attribute or one weapon that in some way sets him apart.
No, that's right.
That makes it very difficult against a guy with the multiplicity of talents that Terence Crawford brings to the ring.
He's a hard contender, a good fighter, and as I said earlier, he needs to be great on a night like this to beat a guy like Crawford.
Beltran landed a hard right hand. Crawford came back with a shot to the belly. And 3 big jabs, and Beltran lands another right hand. Beltran seems to have finally discovered that the straight right hand will work against the southpaw stance.
Well, not only that it'll work, but you got to continue to attack. You can't just walk there and not throw punches.
Crowd wakes up just a little bit as Beltran manages to threaten Crawford a couple of times in the center of the ring.
It's hard for a methodical fighter to become a fiery fighter suddenly when he needs to be. And you can see Beltran trying to do that in spots, but then reverting to what he normally does.
You think any of that has to do with all those years of sparring?
It's a good question. But I think he overcame any kind of sparring partner mentality with that performance against Ricky Burns in Scotland. Just don't think it's his nature to be a fiery kind of fighter.
Beltran went about 30 seconds without throwing a punch. He cannot afford to do that.
Not at all.
It's good, Ray. It's good. It's good. I like that. How do you feel? It's good. Stay closer, man. You know,
Let's take a look at a CompuBox Punch Zone graphic showing you where the punches are landing on Beltran. And there's the reason why Beltran's left eye is swelling up. 80 shots to the left side of Beltran's head. Most of them that long right jab that Terence Crawford throws with considerable authority.
That was a good round for you. Push him around a little bit. Pound with some good punches. You gotta let those hands go, okay? Good, man. One more. You gotta keep those hands up though for me. We'll get caught, okay?
Right hand lead, left hook to the head, left hook to the body. Keep it up, keep it up. Turning. Good.
Should they be using an end swell instead of ice packs on that left eye?
I think so. I think the end swell gets colder, and I think it holds the temperature better. And I think the pressure also helps keep the sweating down.
Oh, okay. Time in. Here we go. Sorry.
Punches in the 7th round. Crawford 13 of 42. Beltran 10 of 27. The 27 punches, the low output of the fight for Beltran. Curious round in which for him to have done that. And we mentioned the 30-second space at the end of the round when he threw no punches. That doesn't help his cause.
Here's Crawford in a more aggressive stance, starting to follow Beltran and try to cut the ring on Beltran.
Wonder if he has the feeling that he's wearing Beltran down.
Well, it doesn't matter. Psychologically, this does a number on a guy because when a guy like Beltran is supposed to be the shorter, more powerful guy, and the tall guy starts to stalk you as though he doesn't care and has no respect for your power, it's very disturbing to you mentally.
Straight left down the pipe for Crawford, landed right on Beltran's mouth.
It's almost like Crawford said, okay, you don't want to stalk me like you should? Well, I'll stalk you. How about that?
And look at Terence Crawford, Bud Crawford like they call him around here. In front of his hometown fans, obviously way up, can box just carefully the rest of the way, but is looking to punish his opponent. And he's taking certain chances in doing that he doesn't have to take. And I think the fans appreciate that.
He's so adept at the psychological realities of fighting.
Loves it psychologically. That's what you got to like about him. That's what makes him so intriguing to me. He's a guy that loves to fight mentally and physically.
And the more confident person you'll seldom meet. When he was given the chance to fight Bradis Prescott on the undercard of a pay-per-view in Vegas, had to move up to 140 pounds in a matter of a week or two to do it. His outstanding manager, Cameron Duncan, was extremely apprehensive. I'm not sure this is a good idea. Crawford said, Cameron, calm down. I'm going to win the fight.
That was a good overhand right by Beltran.
That was. Best punch in a while.
Had no effect on Crawford, though.
It's not that Crawford goes toe-to-toe when I say, takes risks. It's that he uses his boxing skills to try to put a hurting on his opponent. And he doesn't stop doing that just because he may build an insurmountable lead. He keeps doing it.
Another good hook by Beltran.
High on the head of Crawford.
I got you. That's okay.
And for most of the round, Crawford beating Beltran to the punch with that long right jab. Whole round spent in the southpaw stance. Immediately following tonight's boxing, stay tuned for the latest Real Sports, which includes a visit with Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban, who takes us behind the scenes on his hit TV show, Shark Tank, and gives his take on everything from race to HGH.
No, hey, just throwing punches, even when you miss. Figure them out, right? I know, this is a fight. You gotta figure it out, right?
Or his jab.
Take your time.
Force him to his left and do not let him go to his right. Cut it off and flush him back.
I know he's tricky. This is what it's all about, man. Let's figure it out, right? Go to throw punches in the chest, just let him go. I just feel like you're following him around, and you're making him work, but you're not getting the punches going, right? Just let him go. Here we go.
Good night, baby. One big.
Here we go.
Good round.
Still no inswell being used by Eddie Akaway in Beltran's corner on that left eye. I'm no corner man, and I'm certainly no cut man, but it's my impression over the years that the inswell is the best answer in almost every instance to the swelling around the eyes.
And I agree with you, Joe.
Jabs through round 8, Crawford 100 of 302, Beltran only 16 jabs landed in 118 tries, according to CompuBox. And that, of course, goes back to what we showed you on the graphic. At the tail of the tape at the beginning, Crawford with 24.5-inch arm length measurement, arm pit to the end of the fist to only 22 for Ray Beltran. Seldom do you see a wider gap, particularly in a lightweight fight.
Now Beltran forcing a little faster pace.
And throwing some really good punches at Crawford. Just not really having a lot of effect with him, but he is throwing good punches.
Yeah, you get the feeling that Beltran beats most lightweights in the world tonight, but that Crawford isn't one of them, unless he lands something really big that can turn the fight around.
And don't think Beltran can't do that. Just Crawford is not going to give him the opportunity, I don't think.
Hands free, guys. Hands free. Get your hands free. Break. I got you. Hands free, guys. Punch out of there.
And the question is now, Crawford keeps doing this.
Hard left hand by Beltran. Landed it again. And Crawford once again shows you that outstanding chin.
Get out of there, guys.
Beltran's had success in spots here. But if Crawford keeps doing this, is he the fighter of the year?
Well, he's certainly a candidate for it coming into the fight. And there have been some other guys who had big years, notably Sergey Kovalev. But this would be Crawford's third win of the year if he can collect it, and all have been significant. And he answers back Beltran's hard left hook with a couple of hard shots of his own.
Beltran is making him clinch much more in this round. Whereas in previous rounds when Beltran would apply pressure, Crawford would just increase his own punch output, turn him and punish him. Here he's forcing Crawford to clinch a bunch.
Well, Beltran seems to be getting closer to the conclusion that he's behind on the scorecards, that his only chance to win the fight would be to do something big and dramatic, and he's letting some of his caution go in favor of going forward and trying to throw hard shots.
Hey, you see that left under there? Or he can fall into it. He'll fall into it. You throw it after the hook or you throw it first. He'll fall into it. When he coming in, you're going to bring that right foot forward. And he come in.
Okay, we're down. All right? When he stops there and in front of his head, just throw punches, right? Just make sure to keep your hands up. Don't let go or something.
Jab us. Jab us right to the body. Right to the body. Let your hands go before he ties you
You see Beltran on the attack, following turn southpaw, and throws an overhand left at Crawford, something undoubtedly that he learned from all the rounds with a guy like Manny Pacquiao, because most right-handers are afraid to make that move. It's a very good move, very smart move, where he turns southpaw and counters the southpaw with an overhand left, something that southpaw is not used to seeing.
The eye continues to swell. Tiny trickle of blood out of the left nostril of Beltran. Last round was one of his better rounds so far because he's putting forth a little bit more of a reckless effort. Steve Weisfeld, how do you have it through 9?
Jim, I have it 88-83 Crawford. Are some rounds close? Yes. Is Beltran doing good work? Yes. I thought he won the last round. But Crawford's right jab appears to be the ace in the hole that allows him to win a majority of the rounds. So after 9 rounds, I have Crawford up by 5 points.
I see Steve giving those 2 rounds to Beltran. I could see that. But you wonder if when a fight is, round after round dominated by the superior boxer, if sometimes you don't look to give a guy a round. Both rounds that Beltran won on Steve's card, I could also see going to Crawford.
I'm with you. I think it's entirely possible that somebody has a shutout scorecard so far. Possible.
Because stuff like that Crawford just did becomes invisible to you because your eye becomes so accustomed to seeing it. And then when Beltran has momentary success, it registers differently because you don't see it as much.
Terence is boxing so beautifully with that right jab. Beltran is trying everything. He's pulling out all of his tricks. Just nothing has been totally successful for him yet.
Nothing will make his arms longer.
No, it won't.
One of the great things about boxing is you can be down, 10 touchdowns in the 4th quarter with almost no time left, and you can still win if you land that one shot.
One ball.
The beauty of the fight game. As compared to all others. You're down 40 in the 4th quarter of a basketball game, you're out. Not here.
There's a 41-point shot in boxing.
That's it.
That's where the term comes from. It ain't over until it's over.
Mark Nelson's a pretty good referee. Calls that a slip rather than a knockdown. CompuBox numbers at the bottom of the screen show you that Terence Crawford has landed more than twice as many punches as Ray Beltran in the fight. Particularly dominant out of this southpaw stance. Double jab, body shot, left, lead upstairs, into the conventional stance, corners Beltran, Crawford brings the crowd out of their seats.
Good job, Terence. Hey, when that left, you trying to bring that left around, you got to do it off of something, off a jab or something. Or do it when he's coming in. When he come in, either throw the hook and then come back around, or throw the little short jab just to slow him down and then come around. Okay? Because you can't do it by yourself because he's going to move. He's definitely going to move. And then you're going to leave yourself open. You can't do that, all right? He beat this motherfucker up, man.
He see Beltran trying to come forward with a double jab, but their feet get tangled up right there. He was going down right there. He tried to step and his foot got tangled. And he went down. He did get caught with a jab, but I don't think it was effective enough to really put him down.
Roy, you think that Beltran was starting to really wear down at the end of that round, or was he setting a trap for Crawford to try to get him to exchange with him?
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Because Crawford really came on at the end of the 10th.
Round 11 of a scheduled 12. Crawford landed 19 out of 47 in the 10th, only 7 of 21 for Beltran. Beltran cannot afford to recede in activity as he did in that round.
Beltran isn't going to win a decision here. I mean, he's lost the whole fight. And the question is that little give maybe that Crawford is sensing in Beltran that's making him a little more aggressive, is that by design on Beltran's part to try to lure Crawford into a trap? Or is he really just wearing down?
I understand why Beltran would spend so much time at this distance. I mean, he's getting hit anyway. Why not get close to where at least you can hit back? At this distance, he can't even make contact back with Crawford because he's too far away.
I think Crawford hits just hard enough that the price you have to pay to step with him and hit him in an exchange makes it just not worth it. It's one thing to know that you got to do it. It's another thing to make your body do it.
And my point is, like, he's getting hit right there anyway. So if you're going to get hit anyway, why not make the step?
Will Crawford's punching power be questionable at 140?
No, it will not. When a guy does it like Crawford does it, it's like they said, an inch of know-how beats a ton of power. I mean, he knows how to punch. He's not doing it because he's a strong fighter. He's doing it because he's doing it by know-how. This is textbook material.
And in case you're wondering why he might be so interested in moving to 140 pounds, he's promoted by Top Rank, and Freddie Roach has made it clear that he wants Manny Pacquiao to move back to 140. That's a giant economic opportunity.
And could be a very interesting fight.
Another good rally for Beltran.
When he stops, he's right there. He's not throwing enough punches right there. That's where he wants to be at, but he's not throwing but 1-2 punches.
And Crawford, as always, fights back after he's touched. That's another thing about Terence. Such a fighter.
Yeah, he won't let you take the play away from him.
Never. Backing Beltran up.
That's what I mean when I say he's willing to fight mentally and physically.
Hammering Beltran in the corner. And for the second round in a row, Crawford brings the crowd out of their seats. They love him in Omaha.
Keep it cool, bro. Keep it cool. Keep it cool. Looking good, man.
I'll go 50-50. 50 to the body, 50 to the head. And you landing those head shots, you stay on his head, uppercut and hooks, like you did the last fight. Long uppercut and long hooks, pulling your body back, all right?
Hey, check this out. Hey, look.
Crawford with a 28-3 advantage and landed punches in the 11th round. He's a rising tide as the end of the fight nears. Crowd on its feet in Omaha, cheering their man. Max Kellerman brought it up a couple rounds ago. You may well be looking at the fighter of the year.
Particularly if he can end this fight emphatically.
A very good amateur career, though it was not a long amateur career. Under 100 amateur bouts. But he beat Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Diego Magdaleno. All of them celebrated young fighters in the sport.
And he's doing this, by the way, against the consensus second best guy in the divisions behind him.
Increasingly dominant against Ray Beltran in these closing rounds.
What a strong performance to this point by Terence Crawford.
Another one.
Ray Beltran is no weakling by no sense of the word. Ray Beltran is as tough as they get. That's why Pacquiao kept him around for so long. And Terence shows no problems with him to this point. And Ray Beltran is a true professional. Always ready. Came tonight to probably beat any other lightweight in the world except Terence Crawford.
And you see Crawford trying to close the show here, trying to give these fans something to get excited about and remember.
Taking risks to please the audience. another great element of his game.
Good body shot.
Crawford wants the knockout.
Great body shot.
1 minute to go. He's pressing for it.
This, of course, gives Beltran his best chance to score his own knockout, but Crawford's really punishing him now.
Good hard left hook by Beltran. That may end the knockout possibility. Although Crawford, of course, always fights back when touched like that. Crowd can't get enough of it. They'd like to watch him fight 24 rounds.
I think you're right, Jim. I think that left and then that right convinced Crawford
to back off.
maybe I'm not going to get the knockout.
10 seconds.
Don't want to give up a knockout. Being foolish.
5 seconds.
One more try for a big shot. And the closing bell as Crawford raises his gloves and celebrates it.
Thorough performance, a dominant win against the best available challenger in the division.
A professional in every way. Mutual respect from both corners. Steve Weisfeld, give us your final scorecard and then tell us who are the official judges.
Jim, my final scorecard is 118-110 Crawford. Dominating performance, lefty-righty, backwards-forwards, number and effectiveness, head and body. I have Crawford up by 8 points. The judges, we have over 100 years of combined judging experience for this fight. Adelaide Bird has been judging for 33 years. She's done a fine job in many big fights. She and I had Trout beating Cotto at Madison Square Garden. That decision showed she not only had the right winner, but is also immune to a large partisan crowd. Bill Lurch is a top judge from Chicago. He's also been a judge for 33 years. He had Alvarado over Rios by 2 in their rematch. That was an excellent score in a close fight. Cesar Ramos, tremendous experience, 42 years judging. This is his 175th world title fight. We last saw him having Gamboa over Perez by 3 points, and that was a fine score.
And now we await the final scores, and Michael Buffer stands in front of us with the numbers. So let's go to Buffer and find out who won.
After 12 rounds, we go to the scorecards. Cesar Ramos and Adelaide Bird both have it 119-109. Bill Lurch scores at 120-108. All 3 scores go to the winner by unanimous decision. From Omaha, Nebraska, this bud's for you. Still undefeated. Still the WBO lightweight champion of the world, Terence Bud Crawford.
Crawford celebrating with his son in his arms. And we'll take a look at the CompuBox numbers. Overwhelmingly in Terence Crawford's favor as he lands 147 more punches. He throws nearly 300 more, lands at a much higher connect percentage. Power shots, jabs, 150 out of 436, landing 127 more, and throwing, again, nearly 300 more. Fighting most of the fight out of the southpaw stance, so most of those with the right jab, which landed on the left eye of Ray Beltran over and over and over, and nearly closed that eye by the end of the fight. And punch zone shows you the punches that landed on Beltran. There they are, 141 shots to the left side of Beltran's head. The key target in the fight for Crawford, and he nailed it over and over and over. Beltran landing only 25 body shots. He'd have done better to try to get that number up. ultimately winds up being thoroughly outboxed by the best boxer and the best fighter in the 135-pound weight class, Terence Bud Crawford. Let's go to Max Kellerman with the winner.
Terence, you're sending these 11,000 plus fans home happy again. What do you have to say to your hometown fans?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank God who blessed me with this victory. Without him, it wouldn't be possible. I'd like to thank my team. Had a great camp. You know, and to get back to your question, I'm just blessed. I'm just happy.
Think your daddy's a pretty good fighter?
Yeah.
Terence, you came in today at 153 pounds when you were at, your weight day of fight. Is this it for the lightweight division?
This is it. This is it, like Michael Jackson.
Who awaits at 140 that you are most interested in fighting?
Well, you know me, I don't call out fighters. You know, I don't look at any fighter more than the other one. I let my team handle that, and then we'll go from there.
Tonight, you were winning almost every round, maybe every round, and yet in the 10th, 11th, 12th, it looked like you started to push for the knockout. Was that, in fact, what was happening?
Well, I felt that he was slowing down, but I didn't want to get careless, you know, like I did in the Gamboa fight, you know, and got caught with a stupid shot, so I just stuck to what was working.
Terence, thank you very much.